Hello everyone. So today let's continue with the next part of the leaf. That is, in earlier portion we have studied about the types of leaves, then about the structures of leaf, isn't it? So now today let's study in details about the phyllotaxy and the modifications of leaf. So in this video we are going to discuss about phyllotaxy as well as the different modifications the leaves take. Okay, so first of all, phyllotaxy means the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem. Now if you see in your surrounding, so definitely you will see that none of the plants are having similar types of leaves, nor they are having similar types of arrangement, isn't it? So the particular type of arrangement pattern is known as the phyllotaxy. Okay, so basically we find three different types of phyllotaxy. One is called the alternate phyllotaxy, one is the opposite phyllotaxy, and other is the whole phyllotaxy. So first of all, let us discuss about the alternate phyllotaxy, which is also known as spiral phyllotaxy. Here actually one leaf is born at the node, okay, and the other leaf is just alternately arranged, whereas the third leaf, it will be just opposite, just above the first leaf. If we consider this to be number 1, this is 2 and this is 3, then these leaves are arranged in a spiral. Or else if we try to draw a spiral in like this, then a thread is moved and definitely it will give a spiral type of arrangement. Okay, now if they arise exactly on opposite sides, then they form two rows or orthotheses. Okay, now orthothesis means arrangement of leaves. So this is a row, this is a row, so there are two orthotheses, and if there are two orthotheses, so definitely we call it as disticus. Okay, as we observe in case of grass. But sometimes what happen, they occur at an angle of less than about 180 degrees, so that they form 3, 4 or more orthostasis. Okay, and depending upon the condition, that means how many rows are they are forming, it can be tristicus, tetrasticus, etc. Then a spiral which develops if we draw a thread or move a thread from this leaf. If we consider this to be the first leaf and we are moving a thread along the leaves to the leaf which is just placed above the first leaf, then definitely we observe a spiral. Okay, a spiral develops. Okay, and so for which it is known as the genetic spiral, and the phyllotaxy is written by taking number of circles as numerator and the number of leaves as the denominator. If we are considering this as a circle, so circle 1, and it is consisting of 1, 2, 3 leaves. Okay, so definitely this is denoted by 1 by 3. This is also known as the Skimper-Brown series, where each member of the series is the sum total of numerators and denominators of the two previous ones. Got it? And the angle between the two successive leaves or angular divergence is calculated by multiplying the phyllotaxies with 360 degree. That means if it is 1 by 3 into 360 degree, then we will get total 120 degree. Okay, so if it is having two leaves, so definitely the angle will be 180 degree. If it is a disticus condition, 180. If it is a tristicus condition, then it is a 120 degree angle. Okay, and so on goes like this, it continues. Then next we come to the opposite phyllotaxy. So the name itself indicates that the leaves are arranged in opposite manner. Okay, so this is observed in case of guava. Now this type is again subdivided into two parts. One is called the opposite superposed phyllotaxy. That means the opposite leaves of the successive nodes lie one above the other, so that only only two vertical rows are formed. That means this is one node, it is having two opposite leaves, the above node having two opposite leaves, just one above the other, so they are forming a disticus condition. Okay, Then next one we get is the opposite and decussate phyllotaxy. So here what happened, the leaves are opposite of the successive nodes and they lie at right angle to one another. So forming 4 rows. If this is a angle, this is the opposite angle, so the angle at a 90 degree. Okay, so that means what, if these two leaves are forming 2 rows, so definitely these two are at right angle to each other, so these are also forming 2 rows. So this is a tetrastechous condition. Okay, this is observed in case of Ocimum sanctum, that means our tulsi plant. And the last one is the whole phyllotaxy. So in this type, 3 or more than 3 leaves are arranged at each node. So that's why this is known as whole type. So we have got 3 different types of phyllotaxy: the alternate type, okay, the opposite type, opposite superposed, opposite decussate, and the alternate whole type of phyllotaxy. Okay. Next we come to the second part of the topic today's class, that is the modifications of leaf. So first modification is the leaf tendril. That means different structures according to their requirements, they are developing different modifications. Okay, so first is the tendril. The leaf and the leaf part, it gets modified to form green, long, thin, unbranched and sensitive thread-like structures which are called the tendrils. Now tendrils we have already studied in case of stem also, isn't it? Definitely, what is their function? They will help in climbing. Now there are different types of leaf tendrils. Okay, some leaf tendrils, now first one is the whole leaf tendril. That means the whole leaf is modified into a tendril. Okay, here photosynthesis is performed by the foliaceous stipules like the wild pea. Then comes the petiolar tendril, okay, where the petiole gets modified into a tendril, as for example Nepenthes khasiana. Then rachis and petiolar tendril, where the stalk gets modified into a tendril. Okay, then leaf tip tendril, where the leaf tip gets modified into a tendril. Okay, stipular tendril, the leaf ends, that is the stipules, they modify into tendril. Leaflet tendrils, the upper leaflets become modified into tendrils. Then leaflet hooks, the upper 3 leaflets, they modify into curved stiff claws like hooks and help the plants for clinging part. Okay, these are the leaf tendrils. So next we come to the leaf hooks. Leaf hooks means these are the structures. So they are extra modifications. So basically the upper leaves, the leaflets, they develop hook-like structures and these structures help the plant for clinging purpose. Okay, that means for clasping the proper support. Then next comes the leaf spines. Leaf spines are vasculated, hard, stiff, sharp, pointed structures which are meant for providing protections also. Okay, that means the whole leaves, they in some particular plants it gets modified into spines. So this we observe in case of aloe vera, then Ziziphus also. Okay, these are examples. Then next we come to phyllodes. Okay, so phyllodes we have already studied while we were studying the modifications of stem. So modified expanded petiole which take over the function of photosynthesis because of the suppression of the lamina, then portion is known as phyllodes. So here you can see this is the lamina, this is a bit suppressed. So for that particular reason the petiole becomes modified into a phyllodes. Okay, in case of Australian acacia, the bipinnate lamina is absent and so the petiole and the rachis is expanded to form a sickle-shaped green flat phyllodes. Then next we come to the leaf pitchers. So definitely this comes the Nepenthes khasiana plant, our pitcher plant. Okay, the lamina gets modified into a large pitcher and it opens from the above portion. Above portion is open. Here adventitious roots develop inside. These are the adventitious roots which are developing. Okay, called the nest roots. These are called nest roots. Then the pitcher, it is used for trapping insects, okay, digestive insects. The leaf apex, it forms a colored lid for attracting the insect. That means this upper portion, as you can see here, this upper portion, it becomes colorful so that it will attract the insect. So whenever the insect come, immediately it enters into the, this is the mouth of the pitcher, it will enter into it and it will then digest it, okay. Then next is the leaf bladders. Leaf bladders, as you can see in the diagram here, okay, so these are small leaf bladders. These are expanded forms. So in few floating aquatic plants, these leaf bladders are present, okay. They are specialized to trap small animals. So with this help of these structures, they can trap animals for their food. Then next come the succulent leaves. The leaves which are fleshy and swollen and store water, okay, those are called the succulent plants, succulent leaves, as for example Bryophyllum. Then scale leaves are there, the whitish or brown colored leaves, okay, which are of different types and present in different parts of the plant, but they do not take part in photosynthesis. Then colored leaves are there, as for example in poinsettia, the leaves borne near the cyathea, they are brightly colored. That insect attracts the insect and it helps in pollination. Then floral leaves are there, as for example the sepals, petals, stamens, carpels. So all these are different modifications of leaves, okay, for which are meant for different functions. Now insectivorous plants, they have different modifications, okay, for trapping the insects. Then okay, these are all about our leaf modification, okay. So hope this video is clear to you. Go through it properly, the phyllotaxy part and the leaf modifications, and if you have any problem, then please let me know.